Before I start this episode of Dad is Not a Noun, I want to make this moment count. As you can see in the photo here, this is Sophia Alexander. She passed away in 2019 at the age of 6 from brain cancer. But her spirit lives on through the nonprofit organization her mom created in her name, the Sophia Alexander Foundation, Inc. The mission of the Sophia Alexander Foundation is to honor Sophia's life and her courageous battle against brain cancer through the contribution to help to enrich the life and the development of cancer children and their families by supporting education and housing. So at this holiday, if you're looking for a great nonprofit organization to support the Sophia Alexander Foundation. Just go to the website www.sophiaalexanderfoundation.org. They would appreciate it. Even though September was Childhood Cancer Awareness a month, the fight still continues. Thank you. Peace.
It's all for you. Yeah, yo. There whenever it matters, and even more when you feel like it doesn't. Protect you so you never feel like you wasn't. Know I'm right alongside you. Either that or I'm behind you, but always got you. End the discussion, nothing means more. First one to offer is shoulders for what you reach for. Thought I saw the eyes of the world until I seen yours. And know that I ain't see a better view yet. I'm with whatever, so don't ever you fret. Know that you covered, not a hurdle or a heartbreak. A change what a partake, cause none of them won't ever get comfortable in your walkway. My job is to aware you, fully loaded, prepare you for all of the above that I'm never letting get near you. But still in all, give you every advantage I found. Couldn't find a better fit for them, along with my crown. And since the baton was passed, hopping down, cause failing's not an option, and dad is not a noun, not at all.
Welcome to another episode of Dad is Not a Noun. My name is Ishmael, changing the narrative for men of color of fatherhood, as well as changing the narrative on the things I care about. And on today's episode, I have a great individual, great person, great human being, the one and only Jeffrey Norris. He is the CEO, the founder of my SuperMe Hero. And he's here with me again because he got something special going on. And we're going to talk about a leader, but we're going to talk about my SuperMe Hero, which I want to show off to the people. I have my very own. Thank you very much. I would never imagine in a million years. I don't know. People can see it. Yep, I have my very own action figure. That's pretty awesome. Mr. Norris, thank you for joining me. How's your heart, sir?
Oh, I'm doing good. How about you? This is actually the new design
Oh,
here.
you got the Avengers 2.
Yeah. I changed the designs of them a little bit. They're a little bit bigger. Uh, a little bit more colorful. They're a little bit nicer than even those, I think. So yeah.
I'm jealous now. I don't have a kid, but again, I would never imagine in a million years that I would have an action figure of myself.
Yeah.
And
There
the
you go.
beauty of it is that when I wake up in the morning and I go into my living room, that's the first thing I see because that gives me affirmation. Like,
Cool.
and it's just a powerful thing, you know. So I want to thank you for that, truly from the bottom of my heart.
You're
But
welcome.
as men, you know, I want us to be vulnerable and share our stories. So that's why I start with the question, how's your heart? So
Okay.
again, how's your heart?
My heart's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I have it's tricky. From a business standpoint, it's tricky. But other than that, yeah, I'm fine. Just navigating my way through this life thing. We call life.
No, no, I totally agree with that, and it's the one thing about it is that when you're running a business, you deal with the highs and lows. But before we get into the business, let's go to the early days of little Norris as a little kid. Um, do you remember your first action figure?
Yeah, it was a GI Joe, and actually GI Joe was probably the only action figure I ever had.
Really?
And yeah, so and I used to play like for hours. I was kind of an introvert. I say I was. I guess I still am. But so I would take my GI Joe, and it's funny. Soon you said that, I just remember, being on the stairs, and I used to just create all these different things where it'll climb down the rope, and it was a GI Joe. It had like a lion and a gorilla with the cage and
Yes.
everything. Man, I used to play with that thing for hours just by myself.
Wow.
Just playing by myself. But that was the only action figure. Like I never really had what's so weird, like the Superman and Batmans or any of those. The GI Joe was the only one I ever had. Uh, yeah, but I used to love that thing. I wish I still had it.
If you still had it, that thing probably worth a lot of money nowadays.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You're right. The original ones. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But that was yeah. And so yeah, so as a kid, yeah, I did that, and I was always into art. Like I used to draw and paint a lot.
Hmm.
And so I did that. Yeah, I went outside, I played sports and stuff, but inside I would draw. Like some of my schools, in every single classroom, I remember in my elementary school, every single classroom in the building had one of my drawings in it. Like I just used to, get in these art contests and everything else. And I was a decent artist. I never considered myself like the greatest artist. Like I've always been fascinated. I had some friends that they were great artists.
Right.
Like we get in these art contests, and I'll come in second. But when they came in first, I was always just amazed and mesmerized by their art. I was like,
Right.
oh my God, that's great. I can see why they beat me. And it's weird that was the one thing that's always um I had passion for, always art. And this is just a sidetrack, and I'm gonna try to keep it short. So I remember when I left Ohio, I was grown, and I moved to. I didn't have much money. I think I had like $700, and I got on the bus and I moved to Georgia. I didn't know anybody there. Just got off the bus, like, where am I going now? And so I found like this. It was a room and boarding house,
Right.
but so I was staying there. But I remember just walking around the area, and I walked into this art store, and I saw this painting. It was an African lady smoking a pipe,
Okay.
and I asked the guy. I was like, "How much is that thing?" And he said it's 700. I was like, 700. That's all the money I have. But I stood there like for so long, like, do I buy this painting or do I eat tonight?
Right.
And so it took me a while, but I was like, no, I think I'm gonna have to pass on this one. But I almost gave every penny that I had to buy that painting. And the funny thing is, yeah, I would have lost my place and wouldn't have had any place to put the painting anyway.
But you would have had the artwork.
Yeah, but I'd have had the artwork carrying around in the
Right?
street, going to
Look
the
what I got.
shelter, going in the shelter, and everybody talking about, man, that's beautiful.
But I'm just saying that could have been you could have just resold the painting and
Yeah, yeah, you're probably
double
right.
his worth.
Yeah,
I don't know, but
yeah, yeah.
but
But for me, it was for me. It wasn't even about like trying to resell it. In my house, that was the biggest thing is all my artwork. And I used to own an art gallery at one time
okay.
when I was older. So I had a frame shop and art gallery, and helped some artists get started, and they actually became pretty big artists. I used to help them more than I did doing my own stuff. I had stopped doing my own. It was just, pretty much
Right.
cultivating everybody else. Yeah.
But who cultivated your passion for art at an early age? Was it your
It's.
mom
I
or
think I
your
was just no. I think it was just born, born
mm,
with it because I was the only one child. Like nobody, kind of like showed me art or anything like that. It was just. I think I was just born with it.
mm,
And even the business that I have today, it's really centered really around art because it's creativity along with a mission and everything else. But there's art involved in creating some of the things I create. And I always said, I used to be in another business at one time, but if I ever got out of that, I wanted to get back into the art game. And the art business is tricky. It can be hard. You got to really find your niche or in order to grow it. And that's art on any level. If you take a musician or a singer, I mean, there's
mhm.
tons of them out there that can sing, but they all don't make it. So art is and it's it's tricky as a business sometimes, but it's great if you can do it and make a living at it.
And I
You know?
totally agree with that. But at the same time, it's that, if you're passionate about it, um, you just got to keep trucking because you never know. It just takes that one time and then it just takes off.
Yeah, yeah, it can. Like any business, really. But yeah, so yeah, you grind it out, and timing sometimes is it, and um, when I remember, at the height of the NFTs, there was a young kid, this girl, I think she was like 12, 13 years old.
Yes.
And she sold like $5 million worth of her art NFTs. Now, that was a year and a half ago. In today's time, it probably would not have worked because NFT is not the same as it was last year. The hype is not the same. So it was timing was really important at that
Right.
for her. If she had waited another year, she probably wouldn't have been able to do it the same. I don't know. Just looking at the NFT market now, uh, to where it was, the whole crypto and everything to where it was a year and a half ago. Yeah,
No, no, no. And I totally agree with you. And that's the one thing. It's just, you just got to be at the right moment at the right time
yeah,
because, certain things that boom, a lot of people took advantage of it.
yeah,
And now they're out of the game or, just they're waiting for it to emerge again. So no, nobody
yeah.
knows.
No, no, we don't. We
But
don't.
like growing up, did your parents kind of push your creativity or no?
No, no, they didn't. My parents, they were kind of hands off, I
Okay.
guess, with me. Like they uh, they put us in good schools. Like if you did it, so they like, okay, go to this school. But that was pretty much the extent of it.
Mm,
Just they were great providers, but in terms of like interaction or cultivating, uh, they were more hands off, especially to me because I was one of the youngest ones.
right.
So there were six of us, and I was number five. So my oldest brother and my cousin, yeah, they got them involved in all kind of things, arts and everything. So by the time it got down to me, I think they were just tired.
Mm.
So they're like, you do you,
Right.
stay out of trouble. We'll, here, we'll put you in this school or whatever. But, other than that, you kind of on your own, and then I was always kind of walked a different path anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they just kind of like, okay, he's going to do him anyway. So, my other brothers and sisters, yeah, they probably paid a little more attention to, but definitely my oldest, the firstborn, yeah, I remember them getting involved in everything.
Oh wow.
They did, music school,
Right.
all this stuff. But as a kid, we used to have different organizations too.
Okay.
So a lot of times, it took a lot off of the parents because back then there were things like no matter, and these were free services, no matter what your passion was or what you liked, there was a bus that used to take us to, it was Case Western Reserve.
Okay.
And there they did anything. If you liked art, you get into art. If you were in science, you could do this. If you were in the music, whatever you were, sports, whatever. All you had to do was get on the bus that morning. They gave you lunch, free lunch and everything. So, for a lot of the parents, it gave them a break. They didn't have to worry. They're like, okay, this kid likes this, just go, here. So there were organizations and platforms out there at the time that we could get involved if you had your interest. But yeah, my parents, uh, yeah, they would just say, "Hey, go get on the bus." But in terms of what I did or whatever, yeah, they knew I was into art because I used to draw a lot and paint a lot. But no, they never um, directed me or encouraged it. They just let me do me and just tried to provide. They were great providers.
But if you fell, they were always there to pick you up.
Um,
Oh, ooh. You had to
I
think about
guess
that.
you
I don't
caught me
want to
off
start any
guard.
trouble.
You
I don't
caught
want
me off guard with that.
to
Uh, yeah, yeah. Like if you really got down to it, I think with me it was just weird, man. They just even if I fell, like they felt like I was going to get back up
start.
anyway. But yeah, I think if I didn't, yeah, they would. You know what I'm saying? Like but they allowed me to get back up. But yeah, if I didn't get back up, I'm sure they would have they would have picked me up. You know. But like I said, they just for me they just like, oh, he'll be all right. He's just like that. If he falls, he's gonna get back up. Um, so and because I think I was an introvert and
Right.
they just didn't really know really what to think about me. They're
Right.
like, he does great in school. He's a straight A student and all that, but I don't really know who he is. He's tricky. You never know what he might do or whatever. You know, I don't know,
But
but
they definitely got to be proud of you from where you're at right now. From having your own art gallery, helping artists excel, and then moving into transition and making these amazing action figures. Um, like let's transition into what. I remember you told me the story of why you wanted to create these amazing action figures. So do you want to talk about
yeah.
the reason why?
So I have two different businesses. I have the SuperMe, and then I have a company called My 3D World. So with My 3D World, um, I actually create like more realistic
Okay.
type models of people.
Okay. Hold on. Let me
So
bring you up. Bring it up again so I can see it closer. Okay. Yep. That's your twin.
yeah, so I was doing these, and I had a gallery, with a scanner. People come in, get scanned. And I would create images of them. And so one day, one of my friends came by, and we were talking, and his daughter was in the hospital.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh my God. I said, what would be good is if she had an action figure of herself, like an action figure, not so
Hmm.
much like just a statue or something, but an action figure of her that she could hold while she's in the hospital. And that would probably help her get through the situation because it's like, okay, this is me, this is, you're drawing like strength from an external source. Uh, and so that was the initial concept for Super Me. So as soon as I thought about it, I went into action to design it, like immediately, in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is how it should look or whatever. And I created the first mock up. This was back in 2018 when it first started happening.
Okay.
And so I was going through, I created the design, but I didn't really know like the material and
Right.
everything because it was different from the other ones.
Right.
I wanted people to be able to handle these, and really, I wanted them to be toys, you
Right.
know, and eventually they will be. But so it was okay. How do I do the heads? How do I do the bodies? Different materials.
Right.
So really, I went through that for a few years, and I'm still actually going through it. Because every time I get the body, then there's a situation with the head or whatever. So I think right now I have some of the parts. I feel probably the best that I've held out of all these years about the product, but I
Hmm.
know the direction that it's going, and it's still so far away from that. We're talking about toys, an action figure that's fully articulated, that will talk, that will fly, but it'll be you.
Right.
So for the military, say if they go overseas and they give their son or daughter the GI Joe or GI Jane of themselves, and they're overseas and they want to send a message to it,
Hmm.
whoever has it, they can send that message, and that action figure is going to repeat that message in their voice. So that's ultimately where they're going to go. And then I'm working on trying to figure out how to make them fly. But
And
it's
that's gonna
it's to
happen.
be a full line, scale line, toy line eventually, but toys that represent you or your family, that you can identify with.
And I'm on the store right now, and I'm looking at the different models. These are amazing models. You got your SuperMe Classic. You got the male. You have the female. You got the Delta.
Yeah, those were some of the fraternities. Those are some of the fraternities and sororities. The classic male and female, you can actually, if you go into and select it, it allows you to change the colors. So you
Oh,
can select. There are different colors that you can choose from, um, to
okay.
customize it more to your taste. Not so much the fraternities and sororities because they're just one color
Right.
anyway. The deltas, and they're going to come in two colors, but just a regular man classic and female classic, like that blue and white model. If you go to one of those,
Okay.
the first two,
Yep. Go.
then you can go in and choose the color that you want for the cape and for the body,
I
and
like
then the
that.
color for the boots. And then with the female, right now with the female, there's like two different sizes. So that's a medium size, and then there's a large size, a larger female size. And then I'm working on right now like an extra large female, extra large male size. I'm just trying to make it inclusive for a lot of people, because sometimes people say, "Man, I don't, that's not, I remember hearing some guys saying, "Hey," or women like, "I'm a big girl. I want to be a big girl
Right.
super me." I don't want to be a little girl super me. I want to be a big girl super
Right.
me. So yeah, I made one larger, and then I realized, okay, I got to make it a little bit more larger.
and
I got to
and
do
I
a little extra
love
large model.
and I love, if I can, I'll bring it back up again. The main screen is like you have the nurses, the doctors, you have the military. Talk
Mhm.
about the military one because I like, because it kind of remind me of the GI Joe.
Yeah, so the military right now, those models are being redone too to the new model. I'm working on the military one right
Okay.
now. In the military, once I get that, that's probably kind of weird, but that's probably going to be one of the biggest selling ones. Um, but yeah, so we have right now the Army, Air Force, Navy, and Marines that they can choose from. But like I said, it's going to change with the newer models. I mean, those services will still be available, but the design is going to change a little bit. And then after the next change, then we go more to the GI Joe, where it's more articulated, more movable, things like that. Um,
And
you know.
then
But
mhm.
go
And talk
ahead.
about the process too, because I'm looking at right now. Let's say if somebody wants to, when they purchase it, this is the
Yeah,
process
so
they
the
would
way
have
it
to go
works
through.
is you just go to the shop and you select which one you want. Uh, like I said, the first two you can choose the colors that you want, the color of the cape, the color of the body, the color of the boots. You know, you go through, pay for it, and then once you do that, you just basically upload a photo of your face. And I would like, like the three photos that you're showing right there, a full front photo, a side of each face. That's ideal. Typically, we don't get that. Normally, we just get a front of the face photo,
Right.
but it's just a good, clear photo of the face looking straight is the best, best case scenario. So you upload your photo, and then once you upload the photo, it takes about 3 to 4 weeks to make right now, but that's going to be shortened down to a couple of weeks soon. And then 3 or 4 weeks, you'll have your super me.
Nice, nice. And talk about the importance of light. I think that's huge too, right? Talk about the lightning and the light, not the lightning, but the light when you take the photo.
Yeah. So what's ideal is to really have just an even tone light. Because typically, if you go outside and you take a photo outside, it's gonna light always changes the skin tone. If you're outside, then it's generally gonna make it look more reddish or more yellowish tone. And most people don't see that because we're just used to looking at photographs. And even though the lighting's there, we still our mind processes it as this normal person. Like the mind automatically processes how it should look to you because you typically know the photos. For me, when I get them, because of that, I have to try to figure out the skin tone. If I don't have like just a flat color of the skin tone, then I really have to guess. So the photos, the biggest thing is to have a good clear front photo, the eyes very visible, and then an even skin tone. Even if the even skin tone is not in that photo, you can send another reference photo and saying, okay, this is the color of the skin. But even that, once we do the face, then we generally send it to the customer for their approval anyway. So if they say, no, this person is more this color or this color, then we can adjust it before the actual super me is made.
And you did a hell of a job with mine. I'm just gonna show it again to the people. You did a hell of a job.
I like
Yeah,
yours.
I love it,
And
man.
I,
You
I
got it.
like the colors. Yeah, we don't really do the colors like that anymore, but I like it.
I,
Like yours is very unique and like probably nobody else will have one like that one because it's got your logo on there too.
the colors, everything.
Yeah.
Talk about the Super Me logo. Like, what's so significant about having that logo in the middle of the chest?
Again, because the super me is okay. I'm glad you said that. So the purpose of a super me is to focus on what we our internal powers, I should say. Like strength, courage, wisdom, creativity, love. So when I first thought about it, again, this goes back to even when um, my friend mentioned his daughter in the hospital. Because when I first said it, I said it'd be nice for her to have a super me of herself. So the super me is because it's that particular person. So it's me. And the super me's, the focus is again the internal powers. Like the super me's don't really have guns and knives. I remember like a couple of years ago, especially during the George Floyd activity,
Yeah.
where everybody started taking up guns and everything, and understandable. I understand why, but so everybody was not everybody, but I started getting people saying, "Hey, I like to super me, but I want a gun with
Right.
mine." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I understand the world we live in right now, and I understand you doing that, but that goes against the actual premises of the super me. The super
Yeah.
me is to focus on our internal strengths,
Yeah.
like courage, creativity, love, whatever those strengths are. And again, that it's a reflection of you. So you are your own super you, super me, rather than focusing on the external or looking at somebody else. It's good to still have other heroes, like, my dad could be my hero, but my dad could be a super me hero too.
That's right.
He's a super me and he would be my super me of himself. So it's really to focus on those powers, because even when you're talking about my parents and everything, and I was telling you they were great providers and things like that. That came from the inside,
Mm.
and then the things that they actually taught, they did teach us uh, really to how to treat other people, and how to be treated by other people also, you know. So that was a huge thing with them, like I think one of the greatest things, when I look at me and my brothers and sisters, I mean, we've always just been open to anybody, unless somebody's just crazy,
Right.
sometimes we think we're crazy, or stupid.
Like,
Let stupid be stupid. But they've always, focused on these internal and had us focus on these internal strengths, really. And that probably goes back to you say, hey, if you fell, would they help you get up? And I paused for a minute, just because I know they would see if I could get up first.
yeah.
And for me, I've always gotten up.
Yeah.
So, you know, th- I didn't have to get them to pick me up, or lift me up. But yeah, I think if I didn't get up, yeah, I'm almost sure they would lift me up. But they encouraged us to be strong, and to be good people, really, a good person. Yeah.
Definitely. And let's talk about the people in the profession that needs a little get up. You started this amazing Hero of the Month, which is going to be exclusive to teachers for October. I'm going to bring it up if you want to
Okay.
let the people know.
Yeah, yeah. So right now we're having I guess a contest. It would be considered a contest, and in this month we're focusing on educators or teachers. And so what we're asking anybody to do that want to recognize a teacher that's doing an outstanding job to empower their kids, their students, to teach their students, is to either send a 500 word or less essay or video talking about why their teacher is so amazing. And what we're going to do is select one male and one female teacher, and we'll create a free Super Me action figure collectible to give to that person of themselves. So the deadline is October 20th. So up until October 20th, you can email us, and it'll be at info@mysupermehero.com. But just email us a video or the essay explaining why your teacher is so amazing, what they're doing to actually empower the students. And then whoever wins, like I said, we're going to create a free Super Me action figure collectible of them. And then probably what we'll do is, like, every month we'll have something, but we'll probably highlight different people. Again, this month is teachers. Next month it could be, it may be father, it could be a mother, it could be somebody that's overcome, a great obstacle. Just so we want to start focusing on this, and again, all this is connected to the inner strengths of people. Um, and even going into hospitals, one of the things we want to do with SuperMe is, when people purchase SuperMe's, we're setting aside proceeds that at some point in time we're going to go to some of the hospitals or schools, and we're going to just give away free ones. Um, and the will let the people in the hospital, I guess, select who will get it. But yeah, that's one of our ways to kind of give back. That's just one. And then, for me, I have a focus in trying to focus on mental illness. That was, one of my primary passions of focus right now. And at some point to see how we can get more involved in mental awareness um, and help that people may need. Uh, so yeah,
Man, it's amazing what you're doing. I'm just a big fan of yours, of the great work you're doing with the action
thank you,
figures,
thank
as
you.
well as the community. Please follow him on the social media, as you can see on the screen. My Super Me Hero IG. All the details will be on the social media, as well as all the information you need will be on the description below. Mr. Norris, you
And
are
tell
the
the women
man.
we have them for the women too, so they can get there.
That's right.
There's
That's
also
right. So if you don't want to, if you don't want to nominate a teacher, I recommend you nominate a teacher. But if you don't, if you want to just buy the teacher one, you're more than welcome to buy the
exactly,
one for the teacher.
exactly, exactly.
So you have options there. So we just want
That's
to put
right.
it out there. But
Yeah,
but Mr. Norris, thank you for your time. I appreciate you. Uh, keep this. Let's keep this going, because again, teachers are the most unappreciated
they are.
profession, and so this is a way to just highlight the good teachers, man. Because sometimes a teacher want to hear the word "thank you."
Yeah, 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 yeah. And they, in today's environment, my God, I know some teachers, and I don't know how they do what they do, um, because they're they're stuck in the middle a lot of times. Like you can have a great teacher, and they're trying to do something positive for the school or for the students, and then they have to fight the administration
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah,
So they're, or it's the parents sometimes.
yeah,
I mean, the teachers are social workers also now.
yeah,
They
yeah,
have to deal with so many elements. When I was growing up, a teacher was a teacher.
yeah,
We had bad kids, but back then you just, you give them detention or whatever, but you didn't have to deal with a lot of social issues of the student back then.
yeah,
But they have to deal with so much right now. And I mean, even, I mean, we didn't have guns. You got
yeah,
elementary schools and with police in them right
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Kids coming to school with guns and everything, and so these teachers have to deal with this.
yeah.
And so you got a a classroom of, I don't know how large a classroom is now,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 20, 30 students, and
Yep.
you're dealing with so many different dynamics of it, you know, um, and trying to educate them at the same time. So it's got to be like, it's when I think about it, that's got to be like one of the hardest jobs out there right now.
Seriously,
If
it's
you
got to.
want to, especially if you want to do something good and make a change and bring about change. Yeah, some teachers is just a job, but most of them, you know, I got to think it's more than a job, because it's not an easy job.
Yeah.
So you know it's
So
so we like to, yeah. So everybody, I know somebody's got a favorite teacher out there,
that's
or
right.
see a teacher that's doing this. Go ahead and submit your information. Try to get that teacher a free Super Me action figure collectible of themselves. I'm sure they would appreciate it.
They definitely will, and they definitely will. Before we end the show, first of all, I want to thank you for the great work you did for the Real Dads Network, for the award and scholarship show. Be
Thank
creating
you.
these amazing action figures for the dads. I just want to. I don't know if people could see it. That's Cole right there. Oops. Yeah,
Kevin
that's
Hart.
Kevin. Yeah. I didn't want to show Kevin Hart one, but I did.
Yeah.
That's Robert and
Robert.
his son,
Yeah.
Chance. That's the legendary. He's no longer a principal. Awesome. Tapari Wallace.
You know what's so funny is I just saw that picture the other day.
You did?
Yeah,
And
I was scrolling through what you have right now, and I never scrolled through it before. And I was like, oh, okay. I never even noticed this picture right here.
yeah, and then you got Bishop Gregory, and then you got Father is Lit. So again, I want to thank you for doing this for the Real Dads Network. It's just
Oh,
amazing, and those, and from the compliments, the dads just through the roof. Like they would never imagine that they would have an action figure of themselves for
yeah.
being just
You know,
a great dad.
it's weird. Like, and that was I had expected like the dad thing to really be real big. You know, like even so. Right now it says Super Me, but I was even thinking today I want it to say one to say you have a choice. Super Me, of course, Super Me is a brand. Um, but I was going to have one to say Super Dad or Super Mom on it also to give them a choice of which ones. But it's kind of weird that I remember trying to focus on the dads at one time, but I didn't get the response that I thought. I just probably need to get it out there more.
I think it's
And
just
these were things that I felt very passionate about, because I think a lot of times, as men, especially black men, we get beat down so much. And, sometimes everybody gets thrown in the same basket,
yeah,
oh, they're no good, all this, that. And then there's a lot of great dads doing a lot of great things out there.
yeah,
So it was a way to really highlight it. And most of the dads I talk to, when they get one of these, oh my God, they love it. Like,
yeah.
oh my God, I got to action figure of myself. Uh, so, that's one of the things that, and maybe that'll be the contest next month. I don't know. This month is the teachers, and maybe we'll get back to the dads and try to highlight dads and just men in general. Because again, there are a lot of men doing a lot of amazing things. Everybody's not bad out there.
That's
If
right.
all the guys were bad, we really would be
We'll
in
be in
bad.
trouble. We'll be in like
Yeah,
a big
this world would really be
doghouse or
bad.
something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Seriously.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah,
But man, it's just amazing what you're doing. I
thank you,
appreciate you.
thank you.
I admire all the great work you're doing, especially the hardship you're going through. Behind the scenes, I'm always there for advice or just if you just need someone to talk to, I'm a phone call away.
I
But
appreciate it.
again, thank you again. Again, please nominate a teacher.
Yeah, yeah.
We want you to nominate a teacher.
Submit.
Submit. We want thousands of submission because again, teachers need love, man. And what
Yeah,
better way to show love to a teacher than their very own action figure? Maybe with the school colors. Maybe they don't want the school colors, but just to appreciate to have them to have something in their hands to show appreciation.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's weird, like with the other ones you saw, the military and the doctrine. And I used to get this all the time, like, where are the teachers? The teachers are the real heroes. And I said, well, a super me can be a teacher. The other ones, yeah, because they had uniforms, and so it was
Right.
easy to identify. But I said the regular a super me could be anybody. But I used to get that a lot, like people saying the teachers, the teachers, the
Now they
teachers. So I said, okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and honor the teachers.
yeah. So
Let's
now they don't
focus
have any
on the teachers.
excuses.
Yeah, and
For those
then
teachers that you talk to,
now all I hear are crickets.
yeah, so
Like,
there's no excuse.
hello,
It's
are
out
you
there. Yeah, yeah.
remember,
So
remember you
go out
wanted
there
to
and
do the thing?
That's
where's
right.
the video where Beyonce you were talking about it?
Right,
So
right.
it's crazy, man. I
Seriously.
tell you,
So
I can't figure this thing out.
me either, man. So go out there and nominate a damn teacher. Show
That's
some
right.
love. And we're
That's
out.
right.
Again,
That's
thank
right.
you, Mr. Norris.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.